Alright, so welcome back to Fitness Forever TV, and today I'm going to go through a running dynamic warm-up. Now you've seen a dynamic warm-up for the gym, but we're going to talk about especially for before you start running. So why do you warm up before you start running? A lot of people say that you can go ahead and just warm up while you're running. Well, there's some theories behind it, but the analogy I like to use is a frozen rubber band. So what happens when you put a rubber band in the freezer and let it freeze over, and then you pull it out and you want to stretch it to its maximum capacity? It's going to break, right? But if you work it, the molecules inside that rubber start to warm up, start to move around a little bit faster, and now it'll slowly start to stretch. So that's why we do a dynamic warm-up. Think about your muscles just like that frozen rubber band. If you don't warm them up before you start, you have a possibility of injury. So the first thing that I like to do is, these are called Dave Scott's. They were kind of made famous by the Ironman champion Dave Scott. He said that these helped him win several world championships. So what you're going to do is basically, we talked about a posture check in the running video. I'll go ahead and link that down. So posture check is basically putting your arms up, stretch all the way up to the top, drop your shoulders, drop your arms. Now move over all your weight onto one foot. What you're going to do is you're going to swing this leg forward and back 10 times. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then what you're going to do is you're going to bend this knee just a little bit. You're going to dorsiflex that foot and you're going to touch it 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then you're going to lock your knee back out, touch to the back. Remember not to bend your knee. You're just going to touch your toe 10 times. 7, 8, 9, 10. Then you're going to bring it back to the center without dropping it to the ground. Now you're going to swing forward, side, back. Forward, center, side, center, back, center. And do that 10 times. All using that stability of that glute muscle. When you're done, then you can relax. Now you're going to find that you're going to feel a little strain here. So what I like to do is go ahead and do a figure 4 and then just sit down, and this will start to stretch out that other glute muscle. All right. So the idea here is then you want to switch over to the other side, is up, okay? And then all the weight, and you're going to swing. 2, whoop, excuse me, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bend, tap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Up, back, touch the toe. Don't bend the knee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then swing away. Forward, side, back. Forward, side, back. Forward, together, side, together, back, center. Do that 10 times. Then release. Cross over the figure 4 and stretch by sitting down. Now this is not a balance situation for at least the stretch. You want to balance because you're working those stability muscles. So you do want to balance when you are doing your swings. So that's the Dave Scott. The next exercise is high knees. Now, as far as high knees go, you've seen this before. Basically, you're just going to get those knees higher, and it's going to be in a running situation. So what we want to do is the knee comes up to 90 degrees as much as possible. That foot is dorsiflexed, and we're going to go ahead and do our high knees. Looks like this. Now remember, those arms are contralateral, just like you're running. Now, you don't want to travel a lot. This is not it's not a full travel. It's as much repetitions as you can in that certain amount of time. And I'm looking about maybe 10 yards, 15 yards, or maybe 25 on each leg. So those are high knees. 1, 2, 3. You can do these in place if you want to. Now the next one are the butt kickers. Now I do the butt kickers in 2 different variations. One is to work on those hips. Remember that our form is posture, placement, cadence, and lean. So sometimes I like to do the butt kickers working on that lean. So I push my hips forward and I'm going to take this foot dorsiflexed and see if I can hit my butt. Kind of looks like this. Now that's moving your hips forward, working the lean. Sometimes I want to work the full range of motion in my leg. So sometimes I want to work here. So what I'm looking for is the knee actually comes high, and I try to hit my heel to my butt. It looks like this. Again, 25 on each side. And then we move to the Jamison 4x4s. So Jamison 4x4s very simply are 4 high knees, 4 butt kickers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that kind of gets you going to where you can put it all together. Okay, so what you've basically done is you started working the hip flexors, which is the major part of the group of muscles. So what we've done now is we worked the stability, right? That's the glute muscle around the hip flexor. We've done hip flexor in front, hip flexor in back, along with the quad muscle. So the next thing we need to do, so we've gotten the quads, we've gotten the hip flexor, we need to do the hamstrings. And see how this is working here, this whole area. So the next thing is the Frankenstein crossover or a zombie walk. Frankenstein crossover looks like this. Arms are to your side, biceps next to the ears, and you're just going to reach for your toe. Now, very important that you're not trying to kick, okay? Remember that frozen rubber band. We are still not to that point where that rubber band can stretch to its maximum capacity. So what we want to do is make sure that we are lifting, not kicking. So I am just lifting and reaching. If you can't hit your toe, and I can't, that's fine. It's a little bit better each day. Remember that 1% better every single time. So you're going to do 25 on each leg. That is a Frankenstein crossover. If you want to get a little bit more stretch to your back, you can do a zombie walk. And the zombie walk basically turns your arm and then kick. So you're really stretching back, taking that arm, stretch all the way back, and then hit. Okay, that is the zombie walk. You can do either, whichever one you feel is going to be better for you. The next thing is the A skip. So the A skip is basically a regular skip, remember like we used to do when we were in school, but it's a little bit more controlled. It's kind of a shuffle pop. So I'm going to shuffle my foot, pop my leg. And when we did the high knees, we went 90 degrees. Now what you want to do is bring it a little bit higher than 90 degrees, get the higher range of motion, and this will start to implement the psoas muscle. And that will help out keeping your body in the perfect position, in the perfect posture for longer. So it kind of looks like this. Again, contralateral, up. Again, we don't want a lot of traveling, we want a lot of repetition. So 25 on each side. So that's the A skip. Okay. Next is the ankle springs. So as you've seen, we started with the glute, went to the hip flexor, we did the quad, we did the hamstring, we've done the psoas muscle, and now we're going to work on the calf muscle. So it's basically a plantar flex, and then your foot's going to come out and dorsiflex, and as soon as it comes back down, you'll plantar flex again. But basically you're working on just the ankle springs. So your knees are locked, your heels never touch the ground, and you're just going to move forward. I used to call these little Russian dancers. Okay, so now I've got my calf muscle. The next thing we're going to do is ankle rolls. These are great for shin splints. So basically what it is you stand up straight, you're going to pop to your toes all the way up on your calves, come back down, Now you're going to swivel your heels to the side, out. So it looks like this. Up, out, up, out, up, out. Okay? Following that, we're going to do some more dynamic stretching. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start working that quad and that hamstring a little bit. What you're going to do is you're going to take one step forward. You're going to bend the back leg, take your feet, take your hands. You're going to put it on that quad, that back quad, and you're going to pulse your booty back. So that's what we're calling these, booty backs. So I'm going to pulse my booty back 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to dorsiflex my foot, and I'm going to breathe out, sending my booty back a little bit further. Then I'm going to pulse again. 1, very small, little pulses to the back. I'm going to reach down, then I'm going to just tug a little bit 10 times. Then I'm going to step, bend, and stand, and then do the same thing on the other side. For one step forward, I'm going to bend my back. I'm going to put my hands on my quads. I'm going to slowly pulse backwards. Take a deep breath. Dorsiflex, blow it out. And I'm going to go this way, pulse back 10 times. I'm going to reach down, tug, not yank, 10 times. And I'm going to step, bend my knees, and stand up forward. Last but not least, your favorite is your quad stretch. So I'm going to grab my laces with my hand. And then I'm going to put my knees together as much as I possibly can. And then push from my hips slowly. You should feel this in the meat of the quad. Return, go back. On the other side, 10 times, pulsing, pushing your hips forward, and then retreat. And that is your dynamic warm-up for runners. If you have any comments, please leave them below. If not, happy running. And remember, stay motivated. Have a good one.